Thank you for visiting our channel. Please like, share, and subscribe for more exciting food videos. Cajun Crawfish, a flavor-packed guide to Louisiana's best bites. Walk into any backyard boil in Louisiana, and you'll spot a heaping pile of bright red crawfish at the center of the celebration. Cajun crawfish isn't just a meal, it's a taste of Southern tradition and a proud symbol of Louisiana culture. Families and friends come together every spring to share plates heaped with spicy crawfish, corn, and potatoes. From small towns to big cities, this dish brings people together and shows off the bold, savory flavors that make Cajun cuisine famous. Whether you're new to crawfish or grew up cracking shells each season, understanding what makes Cajun crawfish special helps you appreciate every buttery, peppery bite. If you love food that tells a story, you're in the right place. The origins and history of Cajun crawfish. Cajun crawfish didn't just appear in Southern kitchens overnight. Their roots run deep, winding through miles of Louisiana bayous and the stories of families who fished these muddy waters long before today's backyard boils. Their rise in Cajun cuisine follows a rich trail of migration, blending influences from Acadian settlers, French chefs, West African traditions, and Native American wisdom. Crawfish are more than just a meal, they're a symbol of adaptation, resilience, and Louisiana spirit. Crawfish in Cajun tradition detail the significance of crawfish in local festivals and family gatherings. Crawfish boils are at the heart of Cajun life. You'll find them wherever people laugh, swap stories, and savor simple joy. For many, the first boil of spring is a family event, kicking off months filled with music, dancing, and friendship. Locals make big plans around crawfish season. Yearly festivals like the Bridge Crawfish Festival pull in huge crowds with parades, live bands, and enough tail meat to feed an army. But the real magic unfolds on back porches and at long picnic tables, where everyone leaves the world's worries at the door and digs into piles of spicy crawfish. Crawfish boils act as a social glue for Cajun communities. These gatherings span generations, from grandparents teaching kids how to peel tails, to teens loading up tables with fresh sides and dips. Recipes, stories, and inside jokes get passed along as naturally as hot sauce and melted butter. Crawfish isn't just a food tradition, it's a ritual that shapes memories and celebrations across Louisiana. Evolution of Cajun crawfish cuisine. Discuss how cooking techniques and recipes developed over time. Cajun crawfish cuisine tells the story of a people who learned to thrive with what they had. When Acadian settlers arrived from Canada in the 18th century, they teamed up with Native Americans who already knew the muddy trick of catching freshwater crawfish. Together, they created recipes that made the best use of local flavors. Early on, people simmered crawfish in stews, mixing them with wild vegetables and grains. Over time, new ingredients arrived with French and African populations, and the food got spicier and bolder. What started as quiet family meals soon became big, festive boils overflowing with corn, potatoes, sausage, mushrooms, and heaps of spice. Here's how Cajun crawfish recipes changed and grew. Simple stews and soups. Early Cajun cooks threw crawfish into gumbos and bisques, thickening broths with local peppers and herbs. Crawfish boils. Large pots with seasonings, citrus, and vegetables brought neighbors together, leading to today's backyard parties. Traditional dishes. Cajun chefs stuffed crawfish into boudin, folded it into étouffée, and spooned it over rice for big family meals. Modern twists. Now, you'll find crawfish in everything from po' boys to mac and cheese, blending old school roots with new flavors. Cajun crawfish cooking has never stood still. Each pot and recipe holds a little taste of every hand and heart that's helped stir it along the way. Crawfish harvesting, from swamp to table. When it comes to Cajun crawfish, what ends up on your plate has already passed through muddy bayous, strong hands, and clever techniques shaped by tradition and science. Louisiana's crawfish harvest is part rhythm, part hustle, following the seasons, tides, and weather patterns. Whether wild-caught or farm-raised, the journey from swamp to table adds flavor not just to the crawfish, but to the entire culture that cherishes them. Wild versus farmed crawfish, compare the flavor, sustainability, and economic impact of each. Both wild and farmed crawfish are big players in Louisiana's kitchens, and each has its own style. Wild crawfish are caught in the natural bayous, ditches, and swamps during spring when water levels rise and the crawfish wake up from winter burrows. These crawfish feast on what nature gives: algae, plant roots, small insects, which many say gives them a stronger, earthier flavor. Farmed crawfish come from carefully managed ponds, many of which are rotated with rice fields. Farmers control the environment, making sure crawfish have the right food and water for steady growth. Farmed crawfish often taste a bit milder and more consistent. You'll see them at markets in bigger quantities, especially during the heart of crawfish season. Here's how wild and farmed crawfish stack up. Flavor. Wild. Bolder, earthier, sometimes firmer. Farmed. Consistent, mild, and plump. Sustainability. Wild. Dependent on healthy wetlands and natural cycles. Bad weather or drought can hurt the harvest. Farmed. Easier to plan and maintain. Ponds can be reused and managed for year after year harvests. Economic impact. Wild. Supports small-scale fishers and keeps old traditions alive. Farmed. Creates steady jobs and reliable supply, helping Louisiana rank as the top crawfish producer in the country. No matter which you choose, you're supporting the families and communities who pour their effort into every catch. Environmental and economic impact. Discuss how crawfish farming supports local economies and impacts the environment. Crawfish farming is more than a business, it's a way to keep rural Louisiana moving. These farms pump money into small towns by creating jobs, supporting local suppliers, and fueling side businesses like bait shops, equipment suppliers, and roadside diners that serve up fresh crawfish. Local jobs. Each pond needs people to set traps, monitor water, harvest crawfish, and deliver the catch to local markets. Economic boost. Profits from crawfish farming often stay local, helping families pay bills and invest in their communities. Support for festivals. Local feasts and festivals rely on affordable, plentiful crawfish from nearby farms. On the environmental side, crawfish farms often double as rice fields. After the rice is harvested in late summer, the land is flooded, creating a perfect swamp for crawfish through winter and spring. This practice reduces erosion and nutrient runoff, provides habitat for ducks, frogs, and birds, keeps wild wetlands from being overfished. Farmers must watch for problems, though. Drainage and pesticides from other farms can affect crawfish ponds. Smart, sustainable farming keeps the ponds healthy and the crawfish plentiful year after year. With nearly all of the U.S. supply coming from Louisiana, crawfish farming feeds more than just appetites. It nourishes entire towns and protects one of the country's richest wetland areas. The next time you crack a shell, you're tasting Southern work, wisdom, and wild spirit all at once. Key ingredients and spices in Cajun crawfish dishes. If you want to unlock the bold flavor of Cajun crawfish, you have to know what's in the pot. These dishes are famous for their heat, depth, and flavor, all built around a handful of key spices and fresh ingredients. From the seasonings that tingle your tongue to the vegetables that soak up every drop of spicy broth, each part matters. Let's dig into what gives Cajun crawfish its signature taste and scent. Signature Cajun spices and seasonings. No Cajun crawfish dish is complete without a heavy hand of spices. The right combination is what gives the boil its kick and its comfort. There's no single recipe, every cook guards their blend, but some ingredients show up in nearly every pot. Here are the usual suspects behind that unforgettable Cajun flavor. Cayenne pepper brings the steady heat that defines Cajun food. Paprika adds smokiness and a rich red color. Black pepper rounds out the spice with a sharp, earthy bite. Garlic, powdered and fresh, lays down the savory, aromatic foundation. Onion powder gives depth and sweetness. Salt, essential for pulling all the flavors together. Dried thyme and oregano bring a little freshness and herbal note. Bay leaf adds subtle, earthy fragrance. Celery seed offers a backnote of bitterness and crunch. Many cooks use pre-mixed blends like Tony Chachere's or Zatarain's, but homemade versions let you dial up the flavor just how you like it. Don't forget the hot sauce and a splash of lemon juice, both are crowd favorites for a last-minute punch. That's it for part 1. We've covered the basics of Cajun crawfish, but stay tuned for part 2, where we'll share tips on how to cook and enjoy it like a true Louisianan. See you soon. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, share and subscribe.